Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My name is Sadiq on this platform, Beacon of Islam. I'm here to correct or reply to what my brother said, as displayed on the screen, that he is a Christian. I understand that. I understand his belief that he's a Christian. I respect that. That he says that Prophet Muhammad is a false prophet. So I want to correct that misconception. I understand in the world today, there are false prophets. Also, there are good prophets. How can we know the false prophet and good prophet? Because in the Bible, Jesus Christ identified for us how to identify, how to know who are the true prophets and who are the what? False prophets. Go to the book of Matthew chapter 7, verse 15 to 20. Please, pen it down, all Christians and Muslims. Matthew chapter 7, verse 15 to 20, Jesus Christ said, "Beware of false prophets, because they come with sheep clothing, while in their hearts are ravenous wolves." He continued to say in the next verse that good trees does not what? Bear false or bad fruit. Rather than bad trees does not bear what? Good fruit. So good trees definitely bear good fruits. So as bad trees bear what? Bad fruits. So if any tree bears bad fruit, you have to cut the tree off and cast it in the lake of fire. So to identify a prophet, you have to understand it from his fruits, because from their fruits, according to the last verse, which is quoted on that same book of Matthew chapter 7, which is the 20th verse, it says that every prophet, you must know them by their fruits. How can we know that Prophet Muhammad is a true prophet of God? We go to the Quran, because the Quran was revealed 1400 years ago. That's more than 14 centuries in the life of the prophet. We know that the prophet, in some letters we got from history, and even from some passages in the historian books written by non-Muslims, because I would say, if we say it was written by Muslims, they would say it I'm biased. But some non-Muslims wrote some histories about Prophet Muhammad. Now, what did they say about Prophet Muhammad? They said in his lifetime, he was not a literate person. That means he was not learned. He had not been schooled either by scientists or by those philosophers. No, because we have philosophers in his days, but he has not been schooled. He was an illiterate per se. That's the term some people will use it, but it is so callous to use such statements against the Prophet Muhammad. But some people say he is illiterate. That means not lettered. There's the only not lettered and illiterate. It means he doesn't know anything at all. But now he knows something, but not trained, not educated. Now, what did they say? According to some historians, they say that he had knowledge of the things in science and in what? In politics. So how come he could package such a book written 1400 years with such scientific proofs in it, historical evidences in it, and some other evidences, social and political evidences as well? Now let's examine two important points I want to bring out from this Quran to show that Prophet Muhammad was a true prophet of God. There are two chapters of the Quran carrying some important verses, key verses of scientific evidence. And those verses are found in example in the book of Luqman, which Luqman is a book in the Quran. Luqman, which is a chapter, Luqman chapter 31 of the Holy Quran, we read from 29. I'll quote the verse in Arabic, so that after Arabic, I'll translate it to English for understanding. Now, the verse, which is found in Luqman 31 of the Holy Quran, verse 29, it says in Arabic. I'll put it in English, as I said. Now, the verse says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم ترى أن الله يولج الليل في نار ويولج النهر في ليل وسخر الشمس والقمر. And what does it mean? وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ يَجْرِ إِلَّا أَجَلٍ مُسَمًّى إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ. It means that Allah is trying to tell us that don't you see that He is the one who covers the night with the day and covers the day with the night, and he subject the sun and the moon to rotate or to move in their axis in appointed time, whether day, night, or monthly or yearly. This is a sign, and it's astrology. It's a knowledge of astrology. So you cannot expect a ordinary human being unless it's being inspired or is studied through telescope, because it was reported 1400 years ago. And we are in the late century, which is the 21st century. How, imagine a prophet of old at that time, we give such an information that needed a telescope to observe, because it was discovered 200 years ago by some astrologers who came up with the idea that the earth rotates in its axis so as the moon rotates around the earth, and the sun also rotates in its own axis. Because when the book of Joshua chapter 10 verse 12, to prove what Prophet Muhammad had said in his time in the Arab world without the help of a telescope, that even Joshua 10 verse 12 was said that when Joshua was coming out with the people of Israel after the death of Moses, he encountered a miracle that the sun stood still more than 24 hours, which is against the laws of the universe. That is a miracle. And it shows that from that incident indicates that the sun also rotates in its own axis. So it's a miracle. How can an ordinary human being, brother, give such a astrological testimony in his own lifetime? So I've got another verse to prove that Prophet Muhammad is not just a prophet, but being sent by God, inspired by God, and one of the greatest of all prophets, was one and three verses recorded in what? In Surah Mu'minun, which is Surah 20 of the Quran, verse 12, 13, 14. And I quote from that verse. It said, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا إِنسَانًا مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنَ الطِّينِ. That's the 12th verse. It said that already we had created man from part of clay. Part of clay. And he continued, ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَهُ نُطْفَةً فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ. Then we place him, that is the sperm, cutting with the ova, in a very special place, in makin, a place that is calm. The uterus of a woman, the womb, there is sperm forms a zygote after it had been clotted with ova for over probably 14 days. This is a miracle. But how can he know what is happening in the belly of a woman or the womb of a woman without use of an X-ray scanning? It shows a prophet of God. This is science, this is medicine, this is biology. How can he explain that? We move to the next verse when he added more to prove his prophecy, to prove that his prophethood. What did he say? We go to the next verse. He said, ثُمَّ خَلَقَنَا نُطْفَةً حَلَقًا. We created the sperm clotted over to a zygote. Then فَخَلَقْنَا حَلَقَةً مُدْغَةً فَخَلَقْنَا مُدْغَةً and إِذَامًا. Then we made from that zygote, we form it to come out as what? As a fetus. Then from fetus, over time, form it to form what? It became a bone cell surrounding the fetus. Gradual process was taking place inside, a mutation was taking place inside the uterus. And after that, he said, فَخَلَقْنَا فَخَسَوْنَا إِذَامًا لَحْمًا. Then we cover the bone cells, we cover it with flesh inside the uterus of a woman. Then after which, he said in that same verse, he said, أَنْشَاهُ خَلَقَ آخَرَ. Then we made it a new creation in the womb of a woman. This is surprising, because it's amazing how a man can just prophesy that, say or speak about that without having the knowledge of science. That is a prophet of God. It's more than a human being. So it was inspired by God. So he ended the verse by saying, when he could say, فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. Allah is the best of all creation. So how can one say, brother, that this is not the prophet of God? Because Jesus Christ, your prophet, or your Messiah, the one who was sent by God, who was being inspired by the Holy Spirit, he told us that to identify a false prophet, you must identify them by their fruits. Because through their fruit you may know them. So I end with that, brother. Please, thank you very much for understanding. Also bring more comments. And so please try as much as possible to compare the Bible and the Quran to see that Prophet Muhammad is a prophet of God being sent to deliver the last message. Because according to the Quran, it was written in a verse, it said about Prophet Muhammad, "Ma kana Muhammadan aba ahdi min rijalikum illa khatam an-nabiyyin wa rasulullah ilaykum." Rasulullah is nothing of you like your father of one of you, but he is the seal of our prophet, a messenger that was sent unto you. Thank you, brothers and sisters. My name is Sadiq on this platform, Become of Islam.